j'espère que tout le monde va bien en ce samedi matin. Décidément, on ne se quitte plus. Je suis ravie de vous accueillir pour un nouvel épisode de Ancré à la maison. Aujourd'hui, mon invité n'a rien d'un petit nouveau. Cet auteur, compositeur et interprète britannique a 15 albums au compteur et le tout premier qui porte son nom fête ses 20 ans cette année. Vous avez d'ailleurs certainement déjà entendu sa chanson What a Way to Win a War, qui a longtemps été utilisée pour la campagne de publicité du parfum Flower by Kenzo. Très apprécié du public français et extrêmement attaché à la France, il sortira bientôt un nouvel album, entièrement composé de duos avec des artistes français. On accueille tout de suite Tom McRae.
For the long run. So let me grow old with you. And the ending's not the same. They changed it from the book. I'm the boy with the bubble gun. What a way to win a war. What a way to fight a battle. I've been faithful, general.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, great. This interview is about our ties, where we are settled and so on. So
Sure.
it's a little bit interesting for us to know if you are settled in Great Britain and also a little bit in France, no?
Yeah, I've been dividing my time really for the last year between here and Paris, working with some French labels and French artists. It's nice having both, being able to go and be in a really cultural, fantastic city, spend a lot of the week there, and then come back home at weekends. My whole life, I've never lived in one building or one area more than 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, because my dad's job, everywhere we lived, after 5 years we would move. I don't really have a sense of home being a place. Home for me isn't a town or a house or a part of the world. Home is just sort of where I happen to be. Now, that sounds a little bit cliche, especially for a musician.
No.
But that's all I knew as a kid. I don't really have a sense of I belong here. I'm happy to be where I am now, but equally, if I've got a guitar, I'm happy to be anywhere. As long as I can work. If you've got a laptop, you can work, you can record anywhere.
Another thing that this quarantine taught us, it's that we are really linked to time. How did you manage all this time?
It's strange, isn't it? Because time seems to be simultaneously going very fast and also really slowly. So Tuesday can last 3 weeks. But then also the last 6 weeks seem to have gone by like that. I seem to spend a lot of time achieving a very little.
In your normal life, are you always in a rush, or are you someone who takes time?
I have to make myself take time. I always feel like I'm rushing between things, but that's not pressure. That's because I choose to. Because I think I'm older now. Even at 51, I'm excited. I'm excited by things.
Since the beginning of your career, you close to France. You sang with many French artists. You did a lot of show here. What is your link with our country?
First, the main reason is that when my first album came out, it was the place that sort of recognised me first. So I found an audience in France who seemed to like me ahead of anywhere else in the world, and that you never expect to be liked in anywhere. You hope that maybe someone in your own country will like you, but then when someone else in, say France, it's such an honour. And then I started spending more and more time in Paris, and all the artists that I was listening to, I got to know a few of them. And so I had friends there. I'd found, I think, some friends and not just an audience. So it's all of those things really that made me sort of fall in love with France.
So can you say that you have some ties also in France?
I can, yeah. I mean, I do. If I don't go to Paris, if I don't spend time in Paris, once a month, a couple of times a month, I feel like I can't breathe properly. I feel like I have one foot on this side of the channel and one foot on the other side of the channel. The day they let us travel, I mean, even if they say I have to quarantine for 2 weeks, I'll still come.
Do you find some inspiration in Paris?
All the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what it's like for you when you travel, but for me, you get that first sensation of you're a tourist somewhere, and then when you keep going back, you stop being a tourist and you find all the secrets out about a city, and then you realize there are more secrets, there are more areas. Then you find your bit of the city, and it becomes your part of your city.
Yeah.
So for me now with Paris, I feel like I have this area. This is where I feel comfortable. It's weird. It's been a constantly evolving relationship.
I heard also that you are working on a new album with many French artists. Can you tell us more about it, or is it a secret now?
Well, it's kind of a secret, so I won't tell you who I'm working with. But yes, I've been slowly sort of building up this album, and I don't know if it'll come out this year or next year, probably now. But I thought it's something I've not done before. I thought it would be really interesting as an artist to work with French artists for a start, because the language is great. It's a beautiful language to sing. I would like to try and sing in French as well on some stuff.
Yeah.
And also, between you and me, I really wanted to stick the middle finger up to Brexit and say, look, these are my friends, this is what I love. And I thought that would be a nice relationship to highlight as well. Emotionally, I feel like, I'm a European citizen. I feel emotionally connected. I feel that I want to extend the hand of friendship, unity, and for us all to work together.
And do you think that in your music, in your career, you really think you are European before being British?
That's interesting. That's a good question. I think I'm everything and nothing, because the music that I loved most of all growing up was American. It's a cliche again, but because I've never really been at home or felt at home anywhere, I feel that I'm a citizen of the world artistically. I feel that I don't belong to England. I don't say I'm a British artist.
Yeah.
I just happen to live here, and I think that I'm lucky enough on my travels to have experienced so much more of other cultures' music.
And do you think that the British music will continue to influence the rest of the world?
It's a good question. I think these things always go in cycles. So you have R&B and urban music will suddenly be huge, and that sort of more authentically seems to come from America and becomes massive. And then you have hip-hop artists in France who will take that on, and then in England will turn it into grime. And so I think it's constantly turning like this. Culturally, that will always happen. So I hope that Britain will still be making great music, but the truth is those things are decided ultimately by money and marketing. I'm more interested in culturally whether the smaller things will be able to survive now because of Spotify, because of streaming. If artists will have careers long enough to go on to then find an audience around the world, like I did. An artist like me should never have had the chances I did. I was lucky. But I worry more about that.
Thank you so much, because it was a great conversation.
Well, absolutely. Thank you. This felt like I was back in Paris for a little bit. So.
Great!
Yeah, cool.
I'm so grateful.
We could go for a coffee just around the corner.
Oh yeah. Sure.
See you. Bye.
See you. Bye.
What's up, Thérèse?